here from BWOne.com. I've got my YouTube battle jacket on, and we're going to put two 4G phones on a Verizon wireless network against each other. That is the Samsung DROID Charge and the LG Revolution. Let's find out which one is the better 4G LTE device. Okay, in this versus, let's start off by looking at the physical differences between the two phones. Alright, you can see they both actually have the same size screen with 4.3 inches. The LG Revolution has an LCD display. The Samsung DROID Charge actually has an AMOLED display, which is a little bit brighter and sharper and does work better with battery life versus what's on the LG Revolution. They both have front-facing cameras, which are both at 1.3 megapixels. And one of the key differences down here is this does the traditional sort of touch-sensitive buttons, which you see on most high-end devices, especially 4G devices. This actually has physical keys on the DROID Charge here, which is a little bit different. And we could take a look here on the side, sort of around, sort of look at the sort of the thickness between the two of them. And they're not the skinniest devices out there. The LG Revolution definitely has more heft to it, and it is a little bit thinner than the Samsung DROID Charge is a little bit thinner than the LG Revolution, so there's a little bit more heft to this and weight to it. This is a little bit more lighter. And as far as which one feels more solid, the LG Revolution does feel a little bit more solid because of the weight. The Samsung DROID Charge is definitely a little bit lighter. It doesn't feel cheaply built, but some people might take the plastic as being sort of that cheaply feel, which it doesn't feel cheap, but sort of the look may deter people or may make people think that it is built cheap. The LG Revolution has that nice soft back coating and finish, and has the chrome trimmed edges and has all its connection ports sort of covered with a little door on them. You can get this one out, hopefully. You can see kind of has that there. And same thing on this one here too. And that creates a nice sort of very sleek and professional look, which I think will attract some people. And the DROID Charge has that sort of that plastic look. The front definitely has a sleek and professional look, but on the back it's a little bit more not as sleek, not as sharp, I would say, as this, but it still has a nice look to it overall. So you can't go wrong with either look, but I think some people might be attracted to the very professional look that the LG Revolution has over the DROID Charge. Both have obviously rear-facing cameras. The LG Revolution only has a 5 megapixel camera though. It does do 720p video, but it's disappointing that it's only 5 megapixels and does have flash as well too. The DROID Charge has an 8 megapixel camera and 720p video, and this is probably one of the best cameras on Verizon's network as far as phones are concerned. Samsung is probably second to only Nokia right now as far as cameras and high-end devices. The camera looks really good with the DROID Charge here. And as far as weight, like I said, this is lighter, it's a little bit more heavier here. And we'll take a look at the software next between the two of them. We'll turn on the DROID Charge here. And we'll take a look at the software on this. And the software on here. You can already see the screen differences right there. The AMOLED display just looks sharper and brighter than the LCD display that's on the LG Revolution. Now, as far as the interfaces are concerned, they may look alike, but LG, this is really their touch. They don't call it TouchWiz, but it's their UX experience, which takes some cues from TouchWiz, I would definitely say. And it's one of their first phones that really putting that sort of interface on top of it here, really trying to customize Android. A lot of times they just really threw out stock with a couple of extra add-ons, and it definitely takes some cues. So you can see the menu's a little bit different with the grouping. You can have gestures to kind of close it and open the menu grouping like that, and you customize that grouping around as you want to. And the notification tray with the quick access icons, something that's definitely in TouchWiz as well too. And we'll swipe down to here. You can see TouchWiz. You've probably seen it on most Samsung devices, especially Galaxy S devices, high-end ones. There you have the notifications with the very popular way to quick access to different functions in your device. It has the same 7 home screens, and the menu tray, which is here, which is similar to, I guess you have to say similar to the iPhone. I'm not trying to bring that in here, but that's what it pretty much it reminds you of when you look at it. All right, and as far as the cameras and camera software, that's something we can point out a little bit different too. We'll open up the camera on here. And Samsung has a pretty nice camera interface versus what the LG has, which I think the LG needs a little bit of work on their camera interface. As soon as I find the group that it's in, that's a little bit problem with this grouping. You really got to customize it down.
to get it to work for you. As you can see here, difference in the camera applications. The camera application in the Samsung DROID UI1 is really nice. You've seen it in other touch Samsung devices before. Just really easy to get around and get to the functions that you need. Really do like how the way this works. What's in the LG Revolution is pretty much a skinned over stock version of the camera. It works, but I wish they did more to it to make it a little bit more easier, more friendlier to use. Alright, in terms of speed, they're both pretty fast devices, both 1 GHz. I really don't see too much of a difference in terms of speed. They've both been fast and responsive, haven't had any issues with that in particular. As far as battery life is concerned, the DROID Charge most definitely has better battery life with the AMOLED display, and I guess sort of the way they've set this phone up. This has great battery life for a 4G phone, probably the best battery life on 4G phones for Verizon. LG Revolution is pretty much a standard Android affair when it comes to battery life. It's not going to be that great at all, so that's something to definitely note ahead of time. Overall performance between the two of them, outside of battery life, they pretty much perform exactly the same way. I do like the Samsung TouchWiz UI. I like how this works a little bit better than LG's UX experience. LG, this does have some time to really, they need some more time to really mature it and make it a lot better. The DROID Charge with Samsung definitely had time to make TouchWiz a whole lot better, so they've been at it a little bit longer. And another core difference is that the LG Revolution has been Bingified. It does have Bing pre-installed with it and integrated with it, so it has all of Bing services pretty much tied into where the Google services would be. You can, however, download Google services and install it in there, but it won't be as integrated as normally Google would be, as since that's pretty much filled with Bing. This has your stock Google experience and pretty much the stuff that you would normally expect on an Android phone. It's not Bingified, I suppose. So that's a quick versus looking between the two of them. Now let's get to my final decision.
So who wins in this battle between these two 4G LTE phones? Definitely the Samsung DROID Charge. I think the DROID Charge is a better overall package with a great screen, good battery life, and a good camera. And I think those are the things that it has above the LG Revolution. I think it's just the next step above. Also, I think Touch was just a little bit nicer than sort of LG's UX experience on their phone. So if you're on the Verizon network and trying to decide between the two of these phones here, I definitely would pick the DROID Charge personally over the LG Revolution. I think it's just that next step above. And currently, with the 4G phones that are on the Verizon network, I think the DROID Charge is the best phone available. Be sure to check out the written and video reviews that we did for both of these phones here to kind of form your own opinion and get a little more deeper detail. But in this battle, the Samsung DROID Charge wins. So this is BWOne here from BWOne.com, reminding you to subscribe to our YouTube page, follow us on Twitter, become a fan of our Facebook fan page. Also check out the write-up we did in this battle. All the links are on social media and the write-up is in the description. And always remember to live your tech world high definition.